After a rough start for Manchester United under new manager Ten Hag, there would be no better way for Ten Hag to prove himself rather than a good result against Liverpool on Monday. This is a tactical preview and how I would approach the match from both managers' perspectives. With Casemiro joining the squad from Real Madrid, United are hoping to get him into the squad as soon as possible. He would be a major inclusion for the squad that has looked pretty hopeless in midfield with the double pivot of Mctom and Fred. If Casemiro does join the team, I could see Ten Hag going for a 4-3-3 setup, utilizing Casemiro as a single pivot, while allowing both Eriksen and Bruno to also be in midfield. I could see David De Gea in goal with the same fullbacks as before in Shaw and Dalot. With Darwin Núñez out via suspension, I could see Maguire and Martinez in defense, although we could see Varane for Martinez due to his relationship with Casemiro at Real. I think Ten Hag will go with Rashford and Sancho on the outside, and use Ronaldo up top for maximum goal threat. As for Ten Hag's tactics, Liverpool are known to be a very high and tough pressing team. If Ten Hag attempts to build out from the back like the Brentford game, United might have some issues. I think Ten Hag will approach this match in a more pragmatic approach by telling De Gea to go long whenever he sees some pressure. United have also run into an issue with long ball play. Both Brighton and Brentford were comfortable going long and trying to win the second ball in midfield. Especially with Darwin out and possibly Firmino coming in as a 9 or a false 9, I don't think Liverpool will be playing this long ball, and United can kind of try and press Liverpool in hopes that Liverpool can make mistakes in their midfield and defense. We haven't really seen this press from Manchester United, as we said, because both Brighton and Brentford chose to go long and avoid the press. United haven't scored any goals this season, but hopefully with both Bruno and Eriksen in midfield, they'll be a little bit more deadly going forward. Looking at Liverpool, they will be a bit disappointed to not have Darwin Núñez for this match. Darwin scored one and assisted one in their opening match, and he currently has the highest expected goals per 90 and the third highest expected assists per 90 in the league. Liverpool's attack should have Diaz and Salah out wide, with Firmino coming in down the middle and possibly a false 9 role like he did against Fulham. I expect Harvey Elliott to slot in at right center mid, with Fabinho as the holding midfielder. Either Henderson or Milner can take the other midfielder spot, and the Liverpool defense should most likely be the same as last week, with Nat Phillips filling in at center back for Mctom. As I stated earlier, Liverpool will look to press high and prevent any possible opportunities for United to build up from the back. United have struggled against the high press so far this year, and Liverpool's deadly press should cause them plenty of problems. Firmino slotting into the 9 will probably be used more as a false 9 like he was against Fulham. Obviously this isn't ideal as having Darwin starting, but Liverpool should be able to dominate possession in the midfield with Firmino dropping in. Casemiro as the holding midfielder could cause some problems if Firmino does drop in, but I still think Liverpool's midfield is more than capable of keeping possession from the United press. The key matchups will be Diaz and Salah on the outside, who should be able to take on Dalot and Shaw with some success. If I were Ten Hag, I think I'm throwing my footballing style out the window in order to secure some sort of result against rivals Liverpool. I would run a 3 at the back system, more of like a 3-5-2, that turns into a 5-3-2 when out of possession. Having 3 center backs to mark each Liverpool attacker one-on-one would be key in not really allowing Salah or Diaz an opportunity to get in behind. Also, having the 5 in defense would make it much tougher for Liverpool to find the net, especially with Firmino playing instead of Darwin. I think having Dalot and Shaw as the wingbacks is perfectly good, and Casemiro Fred as the double pivot. I think that Fred is a very good defender and presser, which would kind of be essential in a 5-3-2 system next to a destroyer like Casemiro. I would have Rashford up top with Ronaldo, simply because of his counterattacking potential. Bruno would be the 10 in this formation, and if Liverpool is dominating, I would probably put Sancho in for Rashford, and if the game is equal, I would probably put in Eriksen for Rashford, and have Eriksen come in as a 10 with Bruno playing sort of a false 9 or second striker with Ronaldo. This kind of gives a little bit more goal threat and a little more possession in the midfield. Counterattacking would be a major focus in this formation, but if United does gain possession, having Ronaldo in the side would give them a lot more goal threat going forward. Rashford's main job would be at counterattacking the wide areas where Trent and Robertson would be, as typically Trent and Robertson will like to push up an attack and they leave some free space behind them, like we saw Zaha do when Liverpool played Crystal Palace last week. I think Liverpool are pretty well set up to beat United. Given Liverpool's tendency to high press, I think this would be very effective against a struggling United side. I would play Milner in the midfield instead of Henderson because of his ability to cover more ground, but again, you can sub him in at halftime just like they did against Fulham. The biggest issue with Liverpool will be attacking, which I think Salah and Diaz should become more inverted than usual. Having them more towards the inside could give the United central defenders more problems, which has been a weak point for them. But if Liverpool keeps up good pressure, I don't see a great way for United to come into the match, especially since they will probably look to play long whenever the ball goes back to De Gea. My prediction for this match is Liverpool 3, United 1, with Diaz, Firmino, and Salah all scoring. Let me know if you like this type of tactical/preview video, and if you do, let me know if I should include anything else next time.